Well, hello there, and happy Thanksgiving week to all of you. And on the topic of Thanksgiving, do you dread some of these family gatherings? Is there one relative that makes you cringe with the things that come from their mouths? How about those political discussions? As we all know, they are typically a sinkhole for the whole gathering, a downward spiral into bad behavior and regrettable utterances. And there's a good reason for that, according to consciousness research. But we're not going to get into that topic today. That's entirely another topic. Today, I want to help you ensure a happy, harmonious Thanksgiving. And how do you do that? Well, you're going to discover a powerful yet simple and effective technique to transform the energy and the direction of any gathering, including this week's Thanksgiving gatherings. And I'm going to share a story about how effective this technique I'm going to share with you today is. But before I do, my name is Liz Garcia. I'm your happy host here at your weekly dose of higher consciousness that you can find at highvibetriberadio.com. I am also host of the AthenaArenaRadio.com, and I'm sharing this episode with both of my podcast audiences today because it's highly relevant and timely for everyone. And for those Athena Arena listeners, I apologize that I'm not covering the digital marketing topic I promised last week. This is more of a mastering your inner game topic I know you're going to love. In fact, it's one of my top 10 tools for self-healing and transformation, which I will go into deeper in another upcoming episode. So in any event, happy Thanksgiving week to you all. I love goofing off and preparing for Thanksgiving. In fact, I just totally lollygagged yesterday and published a blog post where I'm sharing some curated Thanksgiving Day recipes. I've got some awesome appetizers, mocktails and cocktails, side dishes, 3 or 4 different ways to prepare a turkey so you don't muff it up. And then, of course, the whole dessert thing is going on. Just so you know, I am a former restaurant owner. I used to have a restaurant on Nantucket Island when I was in my 20s I was there for about, 15 years or so. And I'm really good at sniffing out great recipes and putting together things to help, create wonderful menus because I love to be a hostess with the mostest. And I'm also a former retailer. I owned a home furnishings retail store in Boston's Back Bay for 10 years as well. So I'm pretty good at interior design. I love floral design. I really, really love table settings. So I wanted to let you know I put together a blog post with all kinds of recipes for you to look at. You can look at my Pinterest boards. They're all in one place, and you can really pick and choose, make things easier for you to choose some great recipes. There's some good ones there. And I also did a board for table settings and flower arrangements, so you can get an idea of how to really dress up that table pretty simply with some nice little items. So if you go to the mindbodyspiritnetwork.com/Thanksgiving, you'll find that post with all those goodies. And I also shared 2 great videos that I created. Network members and I did 2 years in a row with our favorite Thanksgiving Day quotes and toasts. So you can watch that and get some good ideas for quotes and toasts, which is always a nice little addition to any gathering and to kind of quiet the table and really get everyone focused on gratitude and thankfulness and lovingness and thanking everyone for being there and preparing a lovely meal, that type of thing. So you're going to find some good stuff on that blog post. Again, go to the mindbodyspiritnetwork.com/Thanksgiving, or just go to the homepage, and I'm going to put it on the homepage so that you can get that easily there as well. So let's get to today's topic. How can you, I have this great tool I've been using for years that I used to use when I would drive to business networking meetings when I lived in the Boulder area. I lived in Golden. I would drive to Boulder to networking groups. And it was about a 45-minute drive. So I learned something called heart coherence, and it comes from the Heart Math Institute, where many of you may have heard it, many of you may not have heard about it. I'll talk about all of that in another episode. Today, I just want to get to the super effective tool and technique that I use that's a friggin' powerhouse. Let's call it in consciousness. And the energy of consciousness, the power of the heart can transform the energy of an entire room. And I'm going to tell you how to do it. And it takes a minute, maybe two, however long you want to spend. It doesn't take a long time. And again, I did it in my car. So essentially what's going on is we need to understand that the power or the energy of the heart is a quantum leap above the power of the mind. And heart math understands this and understands how to bring what they call heart coherence to the mind. Like, let's get the mind in alignment with the heart, because that's really where the power play is. That's really where you're going to have really meaningful and noticeable transformations in interactions with people. And I noticed when I went to network meetings, and I was kind of new, so I didn't know people. I wasn't shy, but, I was a little reserved because I didn't know anybody. But I'd go into these big groups, I'd have to talk about myself or whatever. And before I go, I did this it's kind of a little mini heart meditation, but you don't need to close your eyes at all. And I noticed my experience of those networking meetings was dramatically transformed in that people would come up to me after, and if they'd be all alive with this positive energy and they want to get to know me, they want my business card, all of this. And during the meeting, I wouldn't really notice it. I would just be responding to people that want to talk and this type of thing. And then I'd leave and I'm like, oh my God, that was such a different experience than usual. And it's super effective every time I do it. I get this. So what's happening is people are responding to you from this energy of the heart that's present, because you're going to awaken the heart very easily and invite it into your experience, especially for Thanksgiving. I mean, hello, this is like a silver bullet. If you have problematic Thanksgivings, my guess is if you don't get too much into your head and let the ego get in the way and think that that the worst person in the room is going to cause trouble, you'll be surprised by this particular technique. You can transform this whole dreaded experience by doing this. So what you're going to do is I want you to think of something that you love. And this is a great thing to do with your kids. If you have young kids that will be into this and you want to invite them to talk about what they love, even if it's, it doesn't matter what it is. Like if a kid loves their Xbox, have at it. Let them love on it. There's no judgment as to what you want to love. And I highly recommend you don't choose something that you think you should love. That's a way to really, put resistance into the whole formula. You don't want to resist something by thinking you don't should all over yourself or judge yourself for what you want to love on. So I went through some very difficult times in my life where I had a hard time loving anything and kind of judging myself for being the way I was. But I was traumatized. So I'm like, all right, I understand I was traumatized. I can accept that this is not a normal situation I've encountered on numerous occasions. So I had to be loving and accepting of where I was. So I'm like, you know what? The only thing I could love at the time were my dogs or small children. So I encourage you to go with whatever, even if it's like goofy, like, I think I jokingly said I love chocolate chip cookie dough. I mean, that's been a savior for me on way too many occasions, let me tell you. But whatever it is that you love, maybe you have a hobby you love that, someone may poo-poo it or disparage you for having it, but forget that. Go with what you love, whatever it is. And I want you to breathe into your heart area. Just like imagine yourself, breathing in and out. It's easy enough to do because your lungs are near your heart. And just breathe into your heart. And maybe you imagine like a green light there because that's the color of the heart chakra. Or maybe like me, I just imagine the physical heart. Like I can see the physical heart beating away like, an internal organ. It's a little, gory, but it's okay. It's the heart. I'm like going with it. So you're going to breathe into your heart and then you're going to breathe out. And you're just breathing in and through your heart. And I highly recommend that you set an intention for this before you start doing this too. Like say, my intention is to create or inspire a loving, harmonious, fun, like belly laughter-filled Thanksgiving. Whatever it is that you want the Thanksgiving to be. Set that intent first and then start with this simple breathing exercise. So you can breathe in and breathe out, and then I want you to start thinking about this thing that you love and what it is that you love about it. So when I do this with my dogs, I think of each one. I'm like, oh my God, Dancer, I love you so much. And it's so fun to watch you sip your water. I love it when you drink your water because your whole body gets into it. And he has this jerky motion and his whole body just moves when he drinks his water. And then I love it when he is energized and he just goes like happy, hoppy. He's a little lamb. He looks like a little lamb. And I just say, oh my God, I love it when you just go happy, hoppy, and joy. And I can just see it coming from you. And then I'll go look at Edie, my other dog. I'm like, oh, Edie, I just love it when you look at me with those sassy, beautiful eyes. And you look into my eyes and I know you're talking to me and we're communicating. So this is kind of the idea, like just think of aspects of whatever it is you love and just go with it. You don't need to do it for more than a minute or so, if that. That's it. There's a way you can kind of amp up your intention here and do this little thing. And if you're into holding your hands in a prayerful way, that in consciousness is kind of a devotional act. To do that, and devotion is a very high frequency intent. So it's always good you can amp up what you want to achieve or what your intentions are. Better for intention than achievement. Like you don't want to let's take the ego, keep the ego out of it and go with the heartfelt intent. And you can use a prayer hand, or if you sit in meditation, you could sit and do this simple practice. And here's what my experience has been. You'll get involved in the event, and you'll get so involved in having a good time and just going with the flow, you don't realize it. You don't realize something's different until after the fact, because you're just in it. And the power of the heart is likely working within you where the heart is just enjoying the situation. And the spirit within all of us is connecting at the heart, which is a higher power, a higher level, a much higher dimension. So this has been a huge tool for me and couldn't be simpler. I mean, God's likely, let's just keep it simple. And the ego is not one to keep things simple. So I want to keep it simple. Test this out before Thanksgiving. Invite your kids or your family in on it if they're up for it. Young kids will definitely be up for it because you're going to say, all right, honey, I want you to tell me what you love, right? You're going to tell your kids, I want you to think about what you love. You don't even have to tell me what it is because likely, they're thinking about the holidays and Christmas maybe, like, oh, I want to get my favorite gift out of this catalog or this website or whatever it is. Let your kids not tell you what they want. Let them love on whatever it is and not say it, because then they'll really go for it and not feel like they need to please you, right? Or get approval from you. Just let them have the fun of loving what they want. And the kids' hearts are as powerful as ours. The kids, the whole family doing this together is huge. And again, it's only a minute. It's all you need. You don't need to do more than that. That's it. So I'd love to hear back from any of you. You can email me at liz@themindbodyspiritnetwork.com if you have success at Thanksgiving and really notice a significant shift. And watch out for people that are usually problematic with you. They're going to respond to you differently because you're operating from the heart and not the head. Have a great Thanksgiving week, everybody. If you need some help finding some great recipes, I found some great ones on Pinterest, and you can go to my boards, and you can find my boards at themindbodyspiritnetwork.com/Thanksgiving. All kinds of resources there, including a high vibe Thanksgiving song. I got that going on. And I've got a video episode about the power of Thanksgiving in general, as well as understanding the power of our pets, like really putting our pets into context, which I'm a huge dog lover, so there you go. I'll see you. I'll be back here again next week, and we'll resume the topics that I had in mind, which you'll find out next week. I'll see you then.